Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at the Winnipeg Jets trade deadline and what that could look like if they are buyers. Cheveldaev's going to have a big decision to make whether they are buyers or sellers in the next couple of days here. This is being filmed the day after the Vegas game, so right now the Jets are currently 2 points out of a playoff spot behind Vegas, but the Dallas does have 3 games in hand on the Jets as of right now, and of course you have to win those games to make it matter, but that's a lot of games in hand. So I'm going to be going over who I think the Jets should target. I don't really see the Jets going out for a rental forward who's going to be a UFA and they don't plan on re-signing in the offseason, because realistically I don't think the likelihood of beating Colorado in the first round is that high, and even then if you make it to the second round you're likely playing Calgary. So I don't know about that, but it would make sense if the Jets wanted to get a guy with term. So we're going to go look at a few of those guys today who I think the Jets should target, and maybe they will target down the stretch here. So number one is Vancouver Canucks Connor Garland. He's a right winger. He's 5'10", 165 pounds, 26 years old, and 32 points on the year. Connor Garland was involved in the Oliver Ekman-Larsson deal earlier in the year when Arizona moved both of them to Vancouver, and he just really hasn't worked out in Vancouver and hasn't worked out the way that they thought it would. Garland is a very quick and slippery player. He's pretty good at agitating the other players as well, despite his size. He's a tough guy out there, and he can score goals, he can grab assists. He reminds me a lot of kind of like a Brandon Tanev player, but Connor Garland would be a great ad for the Jets. After this year, he does have 4 years left on a pretty good contract of $4.95 million. I do think this would kind of be ideal for the Jets. It's not a crazy contract. Garland would be a guy that could play really anywhere in the lineup, kind of like an Andrew Kopp. I mean, you could put him on as a passenger on the top line. You could have him in your middle six. I really think that he's real good winger, and I do think that he could help the Jets out a lot in the future, and a pretty reasonable contract that wouldn't be too bad. So I do like Connor Garland going to the Jets. If it happens, I don't know. Maybe it doesn't happen at the deadline. Maybe it could be an off-season thing that they look into, but I do think they should be looking at a type of player at least, kind of like Connor Garland. One thing to add though about the Jets and these players that I'm talking about is that they will have to move out salary. So if they do decide to move out a guy like Paul Stastny, that does clear up over $3 million in cap. But I mean, you could see Brendan Dillon go, you could see Andrew Kopp go, and these could be more like lateral moves, but the Jets would have to clear cap for these guys. So with that said, let's move on to the next player. The next player that I'm going to talk about is Travis Sanheim from the Philadelphia Flyers. He carries a $4.675 million contract through this year and next year. He's 6'3", 181 pounds, and another 26-year-old left shot defenseman. 4 goals, 17 assists for 21 points in 57 games this year. Sanheim has played very well for Philadelphia this year, despite being partnered with Rasmus Ristolainen. Risto has had a terrible year this year, as he has for the past 3, 4, 5 years. But also Ivan Provorov hasn't been very good as well. So why the Flyers want to trade Travis Sanheim, I don't really understand. But I don't get it, but it looks like he could be moved. Sanheim would be a big upgrade in the Jets' defense core, but I know what you're all thinking. Oh, another lefty. Don't we already have a logjam on lefty? And yes, we do. However, if we are to bring in Sanheim, we're going to have to move out money. And I do think that we could move out Brendan Dillon. I know the LA Kings have been scouting him a lot, and I think they're really trying to get Jacob Chychrun right now. But if that doesn't work, because the price for Chychrun is sky high, I do think that Brendan Dillon could be an intriguing part to that Kings team, but we'll have to see. However, if that does happen and we do move out Brendan Dillon, I could definitely see the Jets going to replace him for Travis Sanheim. Now, a move for Sanheim would probably mean trading one of our lefty prospects like Sandberg, or maybe a guy like Declan Chisholm. I don't know if we're really open to trading Ville Heinola. I wouldn't really like to see that. I think he has the most upside among our defensemen. However, if we do move on from Sandberg, I think that's fine. You add a pick maybe from a different trade, like if we do end up moving Kopp, or if whatever we get back from Dillon, if you want to piece that in there, and maybe another lower end pick or a prospect. I think Sanheim could be extremely valuable to the Jets if we were to get traded to them. But we'll have to see going forward here what Philly wants to do with their defense core, and maybe he'll be off the market by the offseason. And the last player that I want to talk about is Jakub Vrana from the Detroit Red Wings. Recently, Steve Yzerman has expressed that he's open to any deals who aren't named Sider or Raymond over there in Detroit. So that does mean that Jakub Vrana could be available if he does like the deal. He's 26 years old, 6 foot, just under 200 pounds, left shot, can play either wing, and carries a contract of $5.25 through the next 2 years after this one. Now, one thing to mention about Vrana is that he has been hurt for the majority of the season, but when he's healthy, he is an incredible player. I mean, he's played 4 games so far this year. He's had 3 goals. He had 3 goals in his first 3 games, scoring 2 against the Wild. But I really think that Jakub Vrana could be a lot of fun on the Jets. Speedy winger who could be partnered with somebody like maybe Nikolai Ehlers on the other wing, and you could have a guy like maybe Mark Scheifele or even Cole Perfetti in the middle. I think those 3 together could be an incredibly dangerous line. And then you've got Dubois with Connor and whoever else you want on the right wing there. I mean, it would be a lot of fun. Vrana is a little bit of a wild card. I don't know if Detroit really is like set on getting rid of him. I haven't really heard his name out there. But given that Yzerman's willing to listen to any deals, really, I mean, you might as well send a pitch over there. Why not? He'd be a lot of fun. Maybe they are interested in moving him a little bit just because of how injury prone he's been since coming there. But I do think it would be a lot of fun to have Jakub Vrana in the lineup, and I think he would really propel the Jets forward. Not even a bad contract either, not even $6 million, low 5s at $5.25, and with nice term. I think he'd fit really nice on the Jets. Now, with all that said, I do think the Jets would be better off selling. As I'm recording this, Tomas Hertl actually just signed an 8-year extension with the Sharks, and it's expected that Claude Giroux is going to be traded to the Avalanche before too long. So, I mean, the market could be big for Andrew Kopp and Paul Stastny, even bigger than it was just a week ago. Maybe someone will send in a panic offer, or maybe a bidding war will happen, but I really do think that the Jets would be best off to recoup assets here, and if they want to go get other assets and still stay competitive and maybe just get a head start on the offseason now instead of doing all this in the summer, I don't think that would be a bad idea. But we'll have to see how this all shakes out and how the next couple games go before the trade deadline. Yeah, so with that said, what do you think that the Jets should do this trade deadline? Should they sell, should they buy, or should they do nothing? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. I will be going over all of the trades regarding the Jets and maybe even a few outside of Winnipeg come after the trade deadline, so keep an eye out for that. But yeah, so thanks for watching everyone, have a good one.